Welcome to The Wise Cut. Today, we are diving deep into a book that's, well, let's just say it's pretty controversial. We're talking about Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Now, this isn't just a history book. Think of it more like a secret playbook that reveals how power really works, just beneath the surface of our everyday lives.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you in control or are you being controlled? It's a heavy question, right? But that is the absolute core of this book. Greene's whole argument is that power is this constant game being played all around us, whether we want to admit it or not. And this book, well, this is the rule book for that game.
All right, let's jump into our first section, Mastering the Art of Subtlety. You see, the real foundation of power is about controlling yourself. Before you can even think about influencing other people, you have to get a handle on your own game first. What you say, how you look, and most importantly, what your true intentions are. This is all about playing the long game with finesse, not with force. So let's kick things off with law number 1, never outshine the master. This is absolutely fundamental for navigating any kind of hierarchy. Greene's big warning here is that if you're trying too hard to impress your superiors, showing off just how brilliant you are, it can seriously backfire. You might think you're earning admiration, but what you're really stirring up is fear and insecurity. And trust me, that is way more dangerous. And you know what? History gives us this perfect side-by-side comparison for this law. It's like a tale of two very different fates. On one hand, you have Nicolas Fouquet, the finance minister for France's King Louis XIV. He threw this absolutely insane party, so lavish that it actually made the king's own palace look kind of shabby. Huge mistake. The king felt threatened, and Fouquet spent the rest of his days in a prison cell. Ouch. But then, on the other side, you've got Galileo Galilei. He played it smart. He dedicated his amazing discovery of Jupiter's moons to the powerful Medici family, his patrons. He made them look good. The result? He got a great job and financial security. See? One law, two dramatically different outcomes. And this all connects perfectly to our next one. Law number 3, conceal your intentions. The whole idea is to keep people off balance. If they don't know what you're really up to, how on earth can they prepare a defense? You operate like a ghost. By the time they finally figure out your true goal, it's too late. The game is already over. I mean, just look at a master of this, the 19th century statesman Otto von Bismarck. The guy was a political chess master. He was secretly planning for a war with Austria, but he knew Prussia wasn't quite ready yet. So what did he do? He publicly talked about peace and diplomacy, acting like war was the last thing on his mind. He completely lulled everyone into a false sense of security, and that bought him the time he needed to build his army. So when he finally struck, Austria was completely unprepared. He controlled the story, and by doing that, he controlled the outcome. Okay, next up, law number 4, always say less than necessary. The logic here is pretty simple. The more you talk, the more likely you are to say something foolish and just give away your power. King Louis XIV, the same king from the Fouquet story, was apparently a pro at this. He'd give these very brief, cryptic answers that made people incredibly nervous. And in their rush to fill the awkward silence, they'd end up revealing their own plans and weaknesses. So you see, silence isn't just empty space. It becomes a strategic tool. It creates this vacuum that other people feel this desperate need to fill, and they usually spill all sorts of valuable information in the process. Then, when you do speak, your words just land with so much more weight. Silence is both a shield that keeps you from making mistakes and a way to keep your opponents completely guessing. Okay, so we've covered controlling yourself. Now let's shift gears and talk about external influence. Once you've mastered your own impulses, you can start to shape how other people see the world. And again, we're not talking about force here. This is about the subtle art of influencing how people think and what they do. And this brings us to one of the most cynical laws in the whole book. Law number 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Greene's argument is that history doesn't just remember the people who worked hard. It remembers the people who were visible. By using the efforts of others, you can seem incredibly efficient, and it's your name that gets remembered, not theirs. The classic, almost heartbreaking example of this is the rivalry between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. Tesla was a once-in-a-generation genius, a true inventor. But Edison? Edison was a master of public perception. He built an entire empire on the work of brilliant people like Tesla, making sure his own name was attached to every single breakthrough. The result? Tesla died broke and largely forgotten, while Edison became this American icon. It's a harsh lesson. Sometimes the credit is more powerful than the creation itself.
All right, next up is Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Greene's advice is blunt here. Don't count on people feeling grateful or remembering past favors. People are almost always motivated by what they can get right now. So find a way that your request benefits them, make that benefit crystal clear, and they'll be way more likely to help you.
Christopher Columbus is a perfect case study. For years, he couldn't get funding for his famous voyage. His big breakthrough only came when he completely changed his pitch. He stopped talking about the abstract idea of exploration and started talking about what Queen Isabella of Spain really cared about: the promise of incredible wealth, a massive strategic advantage over her rivals, and the glory of building an empire. He went straight for her self-interest, and the rest is history.
All right, for our final section, we're moving from subtle influence to decisive strategy. This is about seeing the entire chessboard, understanding timing, acting with conviction, and recognizing that sometimes power requires some pretty ruthless action. And here we find one of the book's most brutal laws. Law 15, crush your enemy totally. Greene's argument is that leaving an enemy even partially standing is a huge mistake. A foe you reconcile with might still hold a grudge and just be waiting for a chance to get revenge. Rome understood this perfectly. After 2 brutal wars with their rival, Carthage, they took no chances in the third one. They didn't just defeat them, they razed the city to the ground to make absolutely sure it could never, ever threaten them again. The metaphor the book uses here is so powerful. An enemy left alive is like a wounded viper. You might feel bad for it, you might even try to help it, but as soon as it gets its strength back, it will bite you. Showing mercy can easily be seen as weakness. The principle is clear. When you have to move against an enemy, you have to completely remove their ability to retaliate. Next, let's look at Law 28, enter action with boldness. Greene says that when you hesitate, it's like a signal of weakness to everyone watching. Being timid is dangerous, but boldness can cover up a lot of your flaws. Like he says, everyone admires the bold, no one honors the timid. A bold move just commands attention and makes you look like you're in charge. And for a masterclass in boldness, look no further than Hernan Cortez. When he landed in Mexico to conquer the Aztec Empire, his army was vastly outnumbered and absolutely terrified. To make sure there was no possibility of retreat, he did something completely audacious. He burned his own ships. Suddenly, his men had only one choice. Well, 2 choices: victory or death. That single act of supreme boldness totally galvanized his army and was a huge reason why he ultimately won. And finally, we come to Law 29, plan all the way to the end. Greene really stresses that the ending is everything. It doesn't matter how brilliant your opening moves are if it all leads to a disaster. Just think about Hannibal, the Carthaginian general who kept beating the Romans. He was a master of battlefield tactics, but he didn't have a clear plan for the endgame, how to actually capture the city of Rome itself. In the end, all those spectacular victories meant nothing because he lost the war. And so, this all brings us back to that first big question. Now that you know some of the rules, are you going to play the game, or are you going to be played by it? Look, the 48 Laws of Power is not a moral handbook. It's a field guide to how power has been used throughout all of history. Understanding these laws doesn't mean you have to be ruthless. It just means you can defend yourself and recognize the game being played around you. The ultimate choice of how to act, well, that's still yours. If you found this breakdown of the laws of power insightful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Wise Cut for more deep dives into influential ideas. What do you think of these laws? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thanks for watching.